Hello everybody, so welcome to another video. Today I do have my second day on this incredible event that is full of inspiring people. And today I've chosen to talk about something that Chris Do said today. Yes, he was there too. And what I've taken from this day is the fact that you don't have to be better to be better. Like, let me explain. I'm not saying that honing your skills is a bad thing. Not at all. If I can also share my own story from dance. Like if I wanna feel free in my dancing and the freestyle, of course it takes practice and of course you have to be disciplined and get better and better. But there is a moment where you want to, like, let's say, abandon the improvements, the focused improvement of getting better every single day and like being disciplined and grinding, and you want to go inwards because there is a like a matrix of either becoming only better or becoming only different. And imagine that you would become only better in terms of not really knowing yourself. Like you will become so generic. Imagine that the pianist who believes that only by grinding and only by improving daily and putting the hours in, he will become the most impressive person, the most impressive pianist in the room. Well, maybe. Maybe if there are only people with no personality and with less skills than him. And let's say that I would need to dance and I would need to practice. And if I would practice and practice and practice and only practice, I would just copy paste the things that I see and I would literally put it into my own body without ever putting my personality into it. And what would you see basically if you saw me dance? Almost like you might say, well, good, I don't know, footwork, but there is something off. Well, of course, there is something off because I'm off. The personality would be off. I'm mainly talking about um, fields of life that require some human connection, that require some emotions, which honestly is almost everything. Like, let's say, I don't know, if you have to be creative in coding, you better not be creative in accounting. But even in these fields, you somehow put your personality in it. Like, if you do, that is what makes you almost irreplaceable. Like, if you, I'm not at all proficient in coding, I have no idea how that works. But I imagine that when you do a code, you don't have to do it always the same way. Or you might have another idea. You might have a better idea. And you might have an idea how to create a website that would that would convert better. Or if you create a certain animation, it is a creative work. And so just by putting in your work, this idea, that makes it yours, that makes it unique. And who got that idea? That was you. However, when it comes to the dance, like if we would all practice the same way, we would all become so generic, therefore so average. If everyone, there was Chris was talking about math, so it's really, I mean, math is pretty creative, honestly. uh Argue with me, but that's how I see math. um and he was putting an example of a teacher in Singapore. Like Singapore is super successful in their math students. They're well known for being really good in math. And then he asked the math teacher in Singapore, like, how come that there are so many good students? And she said that, like, before we ever teach, or before we teach them more the math, we first want to make sure that they're confident. We need to make sure that the person, the organism that is going to hone the skill, that is going to go for it, and really improve in the field, first is okay. Like that you are balanced, that you have the baseline, that you imagine that it would be like a trampoline. Like if you would have just a concrete, there isn't a big probability that you're going to jump high. You can learn that, but it's never going to be that high. Imagine that the concrete would be not developed personality, would be the baseline that you don't really know who you really are. You don't really know what your confident self feels like. If you just stop rushing and sit down and relax a bit and realize what an amazing person you are, how capable you are, how powerful you are, then you slowly create this trampoline and you can jump much higher. And this is something that, in any field that you are in your life right now, or in any field that you want to be focused on right now, I would really recommend that you stop for a while, just like day or two or something. It depends definitely on personality and on how much you know yourself already. And if you want, I do this like once per year, let's say, this checklist, or rather, it's like a combination of shadow work, and then there are like some fill in phrases. And I do this on annual basis to just recalibrate. And sometimes if I feel that I'm not going the right way, I just do the questions, and instantly it feels like tidying up your apartment. I've already said it the video before. It's incredible tool. The mind is that the thing that makes us feel happy, that makes us feel motivated, disciplined, that makes us feel in love, that makes us feel devoted, that heals us as well. The mind is the most important part. And so we want to explore it. We want to understand our minds before we ever understand any technical procedures or any technical steps in any skill that we want to acquire. And so, be it arts, accounting, math, coding, singing, or swimming, you can always put your personality in anything that you do. And like that, make yourself almost irreplaceable and very unique person. And that's how I understood that being different is sometimes better than better. Because no one else, as Oscar Wilde said, and I love this quote so much, be yourself because everyone else is freaking taken. You will never be there again. And so, why not to take this advantage to be yourself and to actually understand, like this phrase, like, oh, be yourself? That's also pretty generic. Like, be authentic, be yourself. That's very performative and generic. And to understand it is really just understanding your mind, your morals, your values, what you believe in, what you're afraid of. This way, you can also become closer to yourself and become your best supporter, become like your best friend. And that's when the magic starts to happen, because then you naturally become more self-confident, and by being more self-confident you do stuff, and by doing stuff you become more self-confident, and then it creates this upward spiral, and you can basically achieve anything that you want. And it's a process. I'm not saying that it's gonna be done by, I don't know, like 1 month or 2 months, but it's a process that if I would recommend to do one thing in life, I there is nothing else that I would recommend more, because it's your life, it's you. You are literally the director. It's like if there would be a director and he would have to create a movie, and he just wouldn't know like what to create. He would be like, okay, so what other people do have? No, it's such a deep process, and you can literally become your own artwork. And if you want to accelerate this process, or make the first step, or get different types of shadow work questions, and look at self analysis and self discovery in a different way, definitely check out the link in the description of the video. There's my website, and you can download the baseline reset there. And yeah, I hope to see you soon and stay awesome.